the way that I remember, and still it applies, the tallest girl in the class. And I think fourth period, Miru? Seventh, eighth
Eighth
period.
period.
The
Yeah.
quietest one, middle row, second bench. That's
Yes.
how I remember,
Yeah.
right? Uh, ఎప్పుడైనా ఏదైనా కొంచెం క్వశ్చన్ వస్తే కొంచెం కంఫర్టబుల్ అయితే వచ్చి అడగొచ్చు టీచర్ దగ్గర అంతే కదా. సో దట్స్ వేర్ ఐల్ స్టార్ట్ రైట్ ఫ్రమ్ ప్రాస్పర్ హై. సో బీయింగ్ ఎన్ ఇండియన్ గర్ల్, నీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ చెప్పరా, లైక్ సీయింగ్ ఎన్ ఇండియన్ టీచర్ లైక్ ఇన్ ద క్లాస్ రూమ్ అండ్ దెన్ యూనో మీకు ఒక వాయిస్ ఉంటుంది ఒక టీనేజర్స్కి, రైట్? లైక్ యూ హ్యావ్ యువర్ ఓన్ condition like opinions about, right? But I want to know from your perspective and speaking for everybody else, like from the community. Ela anpistadi meeku?
Yeah, I remember on the first day, as soon as I got my schedule, I was like, oh, this sounds like an Indian teacher. I'm so excited to see, because ippudu varaku I never had an Indian teacher. So, I was really excited to get to know you. And then I walked into the class. You were super welcoming. You were like, I could tell that you were really excited to teach me biology. And at the time, biology was my favorite subject. So I was also really excited to learn from you. And as the year went on, I realized that you're an incredible teacher. I could always rely on you for anything. And I just felt like I felt super included in the space. And we were able to relate to each other more, being from the same cultural background.
So కొంచెం ఎలాబరేట్ చేయరా అక్కడ, రైట్? విచ్ ఈస్ like kids who are born here, ikkada you're born here,
Yes.
you're born here, right? Kids who are born here culturally, like they're so used to seeing, like whether it's in like education or sports or music, right? But what really do you see, like other than thank you so much for giving me so much of grace. I don't know whether I deserve it, but
No,
still,
you-
yeah. But like from a teenager's perspective, when you see somebody who is actually also coming from the same community, do you guys feel like you have more freedom to speak up other than the education part, right? The teacher, me being the teacher and teaching biology, other than that you were seeing somebody who is also coming from the same community. And there is also a group of girls, right? Allah, from the perspective of like coming from an Indian background but born here, when you see somebody who is coming from an Indian community, like do you guys feel as the teenagers, like do you feel there is more liberty and freedom? Do you like, what is that you really like look up to and see, like what is that you see from a teenager's point of view?
I would say I see any Indian like representation in our community as an inspiration, a different path to follow. I see Indian teachers like you. I see Indian teachers, not Indian teachers, just members of the community in the temple, at the hospital, at work, like at office. I just see them in so many different places, and that just makes me feel like there's many different paths for me to choose. And seeing you as a woman, an Indian woman in education, that also inspires me, and it makes me understand that there's different options for me in the future too.
Okay, very nice, actually, super interesting. So um, other than school, what else do you do?
So I'm interested in my nonprofit organization, Body and Planet.
Tell us more.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to. So Body and Planet is a nonprofit organization that tries to bridge climate change and health issues. Seeing as climate change is becoming worse and worse over the last few years, greenhouse gas emissions are rising, ozone layers is
Depleting.
Yes, exactly. So you would also know this as a biology teacher, but yeah, seeing as those issues are happening, it impacts our health more directly than we think. So that's why Body and Planet tries to bridge those issues and especially directs them towards kids so that they can understand the impact of climate change on their health in a more direct and digestible way. So I like to engage with my club at Prosper High School. I have community drives where we distribute books for kids. But apart from my club, I also like playing the violin. I play both American violin and Indian violin, and those are just some of my hobbies.
Okay, right. I will go back to the club that you're
Yeah.
talking about. Like, is it just like you meet like every week and you talk about it, or is it any initiative that you have in the society other than distributing the books, like directly, like whatever your thought process was, it's about the environment. It's about how the environment is actually impacting not just the environment but people, that us who are living on this human planet.
Yes.
So what kind of initiatives do you guys, like, are you guys doing right now, or where are you thinking that you would go with this?
So I'm hoping that in the future, right now, as I mentioned, we have like a book series that I authored
Okay.
and published. So each book series dives into a different organ. So for example, the first book series was on the brain, how climate change impacts the brain. The second book was on lungs, how like climate change impacts the lungs. So like that, I plan to release a full series covering all the major organs. Right now, there's only 2 books out, so of course, I hope to expand that. And moreover, I also hope to reach more kids in the community. Right now, I've reached most of the kids in this community, but I also hope to expand into different parts of the US and even different parts of the world, like India, Africa. Like, I just hope to get my resources out there, and I hope to educate a new generation of kids.
So right now you're just targeting, like right now your focus is physiologically what actually happens in the organ systems and organs, right? um, any initiative, any thought process in terms of like reaching out in the community, like for example, when we talk about ozone, we definitely talk about plastics, right? That will come under like
Yeah.
everything that we are doing. Any, and then anything which is like out there in the community that people are actually going through, like lots of places where actually this um, environmental impacts are very heavy, and where you can actually not just be in the school but take initiatives within the community, not just the distributing the books, but you would actually go in and do some kind
Yeah.
of services. What kind of, like, do you have any thoughts along those lines?
Yes, I definitely do. There's so many small things that people can do to make
Like,
a big difference. Yes, like for instance, installing solar panels in their homes. That's one easy way to reduce electricity costs, or buy an electric car. That's another way. And like for people to volunteer and do direct work, they could also do trash drives where they pick up trash on the sides of our roads, or they could also just volunteer at any climate clubs. Those climate clubs usually are involved with like educating or activism, protest, things like that. So there's many things that people can be involved in, small things that make a big difference.
ఈ సంకల్పం ఎలాగా, ఏదైనా క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటే ఇలా మోటివేట్ అయిపోయిందా శృతి, లేకపోతే సంథింగ్ మోటివేటెడ్ యూ, లైక్ రియలీ హెవీ మోటివేట్ దట్ యూ రియలీ వాంటెడ్ టు దిస్?
Yeah, so like I realized that climate change was a really big issue when I was pretty young, like I would say middle school. And I was just talking to my younger cousins one day, and then some climate channel came on the news, and I was like, oh, this is terrible, because it was showing Canada wildfires, and they were completely devastating an entire town. And I was just thinking out loud, like, oh, this is terrible. But next to me, my younger cousin, he was like, why are we watching this? Who cares? But his ignorance and his apathy, it just made me realize that these young kids, they genuinely don't understand what's happening. It's right in front of them, but they just can't grasp its severity. So that was kind of the aha moment that got me thinking down this path.
So, uh, the girl that I remember, the student that I remember, is so quiet, but there's so much happening inside. So, lots of luck, lots of best wishes. Anything
Thank
that we
you.
can do to be part of this process. Great initiative. Good luck, and everything that you're doing. If I could or we could be any part, please like initiate and let us know. So, apart from that, right? Other than your music, where do you think you're heading towards? Like, what do you want to do?
Well, in the future, I'm thinking like a career kind of around biology or public health, environment, like kind of that area.
Because
Because of course you inspired me. Like that, I remember the first honors biology class I took was from you, and that the concepts I learned in your class really did like make me passionate about biology, honestly. But it was also because I did some personal research, as I mentioned, like my passion for climate change, and all of those experiences kind of came together, and they they make me motivated to study biology.
So other than you, I know that you have two sisters. So
Mhm.
పేర్లు మర్చిపోయా ఒకసారి చెప్తానా
Yeah, so నా చెల్లి పేరు సాయితి and నా పెద్దక్క పేరు శ్రావ్య.
వాళ్ళు musicians ఏనా
Yeah. Saiti, she sings Carnatic music. She's also in choir at school. She sings Western music too. And my older sister Akka, Shravyaka, she also does Carnatic music. Yeah, and she also did choir for some time.
అమ్మ గురించి
Amma,
పేరు అమ్మ ఏం చేస్తారు
yeah, Amma peru Sruthi Kotamraju. She's a talented Carnatic musician. Yes.
blessed
Yes.
learning
And
from amma
I know I'm so lucky to have her as a guide and a mentor, and obviously my mom. Yes, she has a music channel also called
what is it called
Sruthi Kotamraju. Yes, and she sings Carnatic music. She has a music school, Saraswati Music Academy, and
yes చూసారా
yeah.
టెంపుల్లో ప్లే చేస్తారు కదా
Yes, she
అక్కడికి
does,
వచ్చేసి.
she
నాన్నగారి గురించి
Nana, he doesn't play any instruments or sing, but he is a amazing role model, and he's always supportive of my music journey as well as my academic goals.
so we'll just switch a little bit and then go back to your music obviously amma is your guru
Yes.
you're learning from her right ఏం నేర్చుకున్నావు కొంచెం ఏం నేర్చుకుంటున్నావు ఏం నేర్చుకున్నావు ఏంటో దాని గురించి
Yeah.
కొంచెం చెప్పరా నాన్న
Yeah, sure. So I started Indian classical violin in 7th class, and then from there, like I started at at um, at the basics, and then I slowly moved up to Geetams, and I slowly moved up to Varnams, and then Krutis, and now I'm kind of in the process of learning Ragalapana and Swarakalpana, like the more like nuanced, in-depth concepts. Yes, and it's honestly a continuous learning process. Like there's always more to learn in that, but I'm having fun doing it.
It's always awesome to see you in like so many different places. I get to like take a picture with the tallest student that I know, and I always go back and look at those. Right? I always like enjoyed like seeing you on the stage. Right? Everywhere I see you, you're sitting and performing. So super nice. Maybe at the very end, please play something for us.
Oh, yeah.
So just moving a little bit away from that, right? Tell me your experience coming from like an Indian culture, having a great Indian community, prosper is like mostly like Indian community, right? But being an Indian, but then going to US schools, right? And growing up here and then still tied up to the culture, right? Amma as guru and then music and everything. I experience గురించి కొంచెం చెప్పరా
Yeah. So, growing up in Prosper, well, I didn't grow up in Prosper actually. I grew up in New Jersey. So,
That's where I was.
really?
I used to do my PhD there.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, so I grew up in New Jersey, and there it was, just elementary school, normal things. And I feel like I really didn't, I felt very included there despite like being the minority as an Indian. I still felt pretty included there. And I feel that, everyone in that community was pretty nice. But, I moved around a lot in my life. So I came to Prosper in 9th grade. And it was a bit of a trouble adjusting at first because it was high school, new community, new faces. So it was a bit difficult, but I think as I got adjusted to the school, it became easier. Despite having an Indian background, I don't think that made me very different from everyone else. We were all united as students, so I think that. Yeah, so I definitely felt like very welcomed, a part of the school, and I still feel that way.
Lots of your friends in that class period, like they're all from the same community, right? Do you guys do a lot of stuff like outside the school? Do you still like keep in touch with each other and do
Yes, we
bacha
do.
parties and stuff?
Yes, we do. I
What do
keep
you
in
guys
touch
do?
with a lot of the students from our class. Although some of them moved to a new school, I still keep in touch with them. We still hang out, and yeah.
All right. So I always enjoy seeing you on the stage, and Amma
Thank
also.
you.
I just sit back and then watch you guys, and then I take lots of pictures and stuff. But the experience, Chaprana, like Amma having you as a guru, right? Every time you go out there and you perform, and you're representing not just yourself, a group of community, right? Being on this, it's not just not about being on the stage, but you're bringing a representation of a community and in art form, which is music. So, like, any experience, like, what is that you think that you're serving back to the community?
I honestly love playing the violin for my community. Every time I go to the temple and have the opportunity to perform something, I'm always grateful for that opportunity. And it just feels like I'm giving back to the community, giving back to the temple. Because even though I don't perform too often, every time I do perform, it feels like very special to me. Especially if I'm performing alongside Amma or, yeah, because I get
You
to
have,
support it.
right, many times.
Yes, I have many times played alongside my mom, so and her students as well. So every time I play with them, I feel like I'm contributing to their learning. I'm contributing to the temple. I'm contributing to just everyone's enjoyment. So I feel really, really happy every time I play.
I'm super proud because I have seen you like just in the past 2 years, you have evolved like so much. Like I've even though you were super quiet, I have watched you in the class and I've seen you like you have evolved like you
Thank
know
you.
super proud of
Thank you so much.
super proud. So e music path, right? నీకేమైనా ఇన్స్పిరేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయా లైక్ అట్ సమ్ పాయింట్ అమ్మలాగా నువ్వు ఒక గురులాగా మళ్ళీ యూ హ్యావ్ వాంట్ టు గివ్ బ్యాక్ అండ్ టీచ్ అలాంటి ఆస్పిరేషన్స్?
Yes, definitely. I definitely want to teach Carnatic music, specifically violin.
Violin, okay.
Yeah, and I want to follow Amma's path and also continue her legacy with a music school of my own, teaching students of my own, and hopefully, make as much of an impact as she has.
రీసెంట్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ గురించి చెప్పండి.
Recent performance, probably. I played with Amma's students a while ago at the Hanuman temple.
Okay.
Yes, and
This year?
not this year, like not 2026, but in 2025 I have performed with her students quite a few times, and I've also performed at many programs. Not exactly remembering the names right now, but yeah, I have performed a few times in the past. Yeah.
Okay. Any point in time in the music career, right? The path that you're taking, ఎప్పుడైనా అబ్బా ఇది వద్దు నాకు కష్టము నాకు వదిలేస్తా అలాంటి పేజీలు ఎప్పుడైనా బెటర్ అమ్మతో?
Of course, any musician will feel that. I mean, of course I had a few times, like a few days when I was learning a really difficult kruti and I was like, oh, I can't do this is too hard. But I don't think it ever reached a point where I was like, oh, I want to give up violin. It never reached that point. And even though there were a few challenges in the learning process, I'm like, no matter how hard a song is that I choose to play, I feel that I will always want to play violin. So even though sometimes I'm like, oh no, I don't want to play this song, I still always want to play the violin, if that makes sense.
Like, it does make sense.
Yeah.
So when you struggle, like everybody has this coping mechanisms and everybody has something to offer. Right? We all have our tricks in our pockets that we pull when we are struggling with something. Either we are crushed for time or either, as you said, the piece is too difficult, but you still want to play violin. Like, tell us, like, reveal knee secrets, ela coping mechanisms. What do you do then so that you can offer it to other people also, right? Knee age pillalu, right? They might be struggling with the same thing and they would, as you said, rightfully said actually, like they look up to you. And then also having a guru and mother as a guru, it's a blessing, super blessing.
Yes.
Not everybody is blessed with that. So please offer, like when you're going through stuff like that, what kind of coping mechanism, what do you say to yourself to say, you know what, I still want to do this?
I would say I first think on why I'm doing this in the first place, like trying to reflect and just think, oh, I'm doing this so that I can further my music journey. I'm doing this so that I can also continue playing alongside my mom and the other students and continue giving back to the community. So with those thoughts in my mind, like taking a brief break, then I go back into it fully energized, ready to play, and all the anxiety goes away.
Everybody experiences different things in life in different ways, and even including music also, right? ఒక రకమైన ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉంటుంది మనకి, రైట్? ఒక రకమైన శాంతో పీసో సంథింగ్,
Yes.
రైట్? నీకేమనిపిస్తుంది when you play, like you're going through this journey, right? You're playing, you're performing, right? You're accompanying amma students, right? You're representing a community. There are so many things, aspects which are happening within you, right? So your own experience, like how do you, like what is your experience like anda santoshme, right? Everything is good, but for somebody it brings peace. Like, what does it bring to you?
Yes, for me, it definitely brings peace. When I'm playing, I just feel like I'm floating in the world. Like everything goes out of existence. It's just me, my thoughts, and my music. It's a way for me, it's creative expression, a way for me
Tell me
to
more.
express myself
Yeah.
creatively. With all the like studies and all the school related stuff that I'm doing, music is like a creative outlet for me, and it's one way I can express myself truly and feel the joy of expressing myself in a creative form, which is music. So when I'm playing, I honestly feel a sense of peace. It feels like everything else is just fading out around me, and music is just that one focus that I have. So it's a very, very good feeling.
How important do you think that, if possible, ఆపర్చునిటీ ఉంటే ఆస్కారం ఉంటే ఏదో ఒక రకమైన ఆర్ట్ ఫామ్, ఒక మ్యూజిక్ కానీ డ్యాన్స్ కానీ ఏదైనా, లైక్ how important do you feel that any teenagers or teenage group, like that you feel that this has to be a part of their life, music has to be
Uh-huh.
part of their life?
I think that music, dance, and the other like creative things that you mentioned, they're all very important. It's easy to get carried away by school sometimes, especially as a teenager in today's world. So I think that having some of those creative outlets to express yourself is very important. And I've personally experienced like the joy that violin gives me. So I can say that I think that dance, music, singing, whatever it is, art, all of those are very important for teenagers.
Teenagers especially, or
Yeah,
adults?
especially teenagers, but for everyone in general too.
Teenage.
Yeah,
Alright.
I think that we should all have some kind of music or some kind of creativity in our lives.
ఏదైనా ప్లే చేస్తావా మాకు?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you want to play?
I'll play Vatapi Ganapatim.
Okay, very nice, super nice, and thank you. All right. So, Shruti, thank you very much for playing.
It was my
It was
pleasure.
wonderful, and we'll come back and we'll play again. But let me tell me more about this book. You know, I'm looking at this. They have a great cover. Lung
Thank
Lane,
you.
Brain Boulevard. So very creative. So tell us like where you made it, who you're distributing, and which age group, and anything more that I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. So this is my book, Lung Lane. It's the second book in the series. But before I get into this, I would also like to, speak a little bit more on Body and Plan and its impact. So as I mentioned previously, Body and Plan is aimed towards elementary school kids. So it's aimed at them because they don't have many of the resources, online resources that adults have. Adults have a lot of complicated, like boring resources.
Okay.
And kids, that just doesn't appeal to them.
Okay.
So that's why I made this series. It's more fun, it's engaging, it's a picture book. And, we have so many initiatives planned. We've already distributed 100 copies of this book and reached more than 250 kids in this community. And we're planning on distributing these to the library too, Prosper Library. And we're doing initiatives with club members. But yeah, that's just a few of the things we've been doing. But let's get into the book. So this is the picture book. And
This is like a storyline.
yeah, it's
It's
a
a story,
story.
okay.
The main character is Zara, and she goes through an entire adventure on Bodyville. I illustrated these all myself on Procreate, and I wrote all the dialogues myself too.
Super
Yeah.
proud, my friend.
Thank you. You see, this is the lungs, and she's explaining how the lungs work, all the different parts.
Okay.
Yeah, and then towards the end, they talk about climate change and how it can hurt lungs.
The impacts
Yes,
on
exactly.
particular organ. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Super awesome. So tell us a little bit of Brain Boulevard, the main center
Yes.
of the body.
Of course. Yeah, Brain Boulevard was actually my first book, so I'm excited to share this one. Now, as the title suggests, this one does talk about the brain. Let me get to the part where we look at the brain. Yeah, so these are the different parts of the brain. Yeah, so I'm teaching them about the different parts of the brain. And then towards the end of the book, we get to how climate change impacts the brain. So
And these are free copies.
yes, we're distributing these free.
So if somebody who might be looking at this clip and videos, and if they are interested, and if they want to get a book, what should they do?
If you're interested, then please reach out to me. Bhairavi ma'am will
We can put an address,
yeah,
yeah,
you can
or
put
number,
an
yeah.
email address on the podcast. Yeah, please reach out to me. And we also, if you live in the Prosper area, then you'll be more accessible. But we're also working on getting an online version free on our website, so you can also check that out.
And tell me more about your initiative with the library. Most of the people, they go to library, right?
Yeah.
That's the source where they can,
Yes.
so they can ask there. Like, are you like displaying this in the library?
Well, not yet, but we are planning on it.
Okay.
Because, as you mentioned, library is a free resource.
Yeah.
So I would love to get a few copies of these out in the library. It's a free resource
resource,
that
yeah.
kids, adults, anyone can go and get books from. But yeah.
So, on many different levels, I'm super proud, and also not just the initiative, but a bold step of taking. This takes time. This takes creativity, and a strong initiative that you really want to go after this, to publish it, to actually post it. Thanks to Amma and your parents who are supporting this cause, because this, I know that this costs money and time. So great effort to serve the human community.
Yes.
And lots of good luck to you. Chala santosham. And thank you so much, Ranana.
Thank you
Very
so much for
Thank you.
having me. It
Thank
was a pleasure.
you.